Welcome, Reni, to the Beyond Money Summit, specifically the How I'm Doing It segment, because, girl, you are doing it all. You're doing all the things. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I do appreciate it.
How are you?
I'm good. How have you been?
I'm doing great. Fantastic, especially now that we're going to talk. Look, I'm going to cut right into it. You quit.
I quit. I did.
How does it feel?
It feels amazing, honestly. It feels like I bet on myself. That's what it feels like.
I love that. I love that. So just to give everyone some context, can you tell us about what you were doing before and really why you decided to quit your job? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I was working at the Bank of Montreal and I was working as a marketing manager in their wealth management department. So I was creating marketing plans to attract ultra high net worth clients to the bank. It was like, people were like, oh, that's such an amazing role. You know, like it was, I would say there was a lot of prestige around it, especially working in wealth management. Mm-hmm. So that's what I was doing. And I've been doing it since 2018 or 2019. It was good, but then I started doing the role of two people because someone on my team left and they never replaced her. So it just got a little bit overwhelming. So I decided to bet on myself and focus on my YouTube channels. That's really what I'm doing now. And I create content around finance, career, and lifestyle. So yeah, that's what I've been doing lately.
Amazing. Like you said, you had not only a job, you had what seems to be a really good job. So walk me through some of the emotions that came with deciding to bet on yourself.
It was actually a very stressful experience to make the leap to quit. Mm-hmm. It took me maybe 6 months or so from the time I first thought of it to the time I actually left. It took maybe 6 months. So It was not an easy decision. I feel like I've seen a lot of people say, I quit my job, but they never say the backstory behind it and how it's actually a very it's a huge decision. For me, at least it was. So I decided to, in maybe April or so, I was thinking about leaving and it was becoming, the work was becoming overwhelming and I was getting burnt out. And I decided to, how did I decide? I don't even know. I would discuss with people, my friends, and then I also saw a lot of people were leaving their jobs. So it kind of encouraged me. And also my YouTube channel was picking up at the time. So that was another encouragement because it was like, okay, I'm not going to lose all my income if I just leave this job. I'm going to have something to replace it. So that was that was my thought process going in.
Right.
But there were so many factors, and I think we'll get into that, but there were so many factors that I had to weigh before actually deciding to ultimately leave.
So you have a lot of wins that I want us to go over. But first, because we don't want to just jump right over it, right? There are so many consequences, financial and emotional, that come with quitting your job. You touched on the emotions a little bit, but how did you prepare? I know you have a YouTube video on it, but tell us how you prepared to quit.
So to prepare to quit, as I said, it was a long process. It was not just one day I'm gonna quit. The first thing I did was see how much I would need to live off of if my YouTube channel suddenly crashed. How much money every month would I need to live off of? And so I calculated that and I saved that amount. So I have an emergency fund basically, just in case I no longer make money. I have a fund, and that's about $30,000 that I was able to.
But I feel like you call it something else.
Yes.
What do you call it?
My Vex money.
Tell us where did you get that from? That's different. It's not just a plain old emergency fund. What is a Vex fund?
It's basically a fund, another term for it would be a FU fund.
Oh, right.
Where it's basically if anyone pisses me off or I want to leave a situation, I have this money. If I'm on a date and the guy doesn't want to pay, I have this money, and the money will hold me over, and I can pay for myself. Okay. So same thing. If this job isn't treating me well, I basically have the funds to leave, and that's a privilege. I will say it is a privilege. That's what my Vex fund is, and I have about $30,000 worth of that.
How did you build that? Because I know it's one thing to say save, set aside X amount, but I know that you do have something that you leveraged.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
So I leveraged my employee share ownership plan from my job. So I guess the same job that I was leaving is the way that they gave me the ability to leave.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So,
no, honestly, it's very important that people understand that you can leverage your full-time job to leave, basically.
Yes.
Not just in the form of the paycheck, but in terms of like other resources and things that they might have, right? Because people don't even read those fine print things.
A lot of my coworkers, they had never heard of it, and they've been there for 10 years.
Stop.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, guys, let me teach you. Even though I'm the youngest on the team, let me teach everyone about.
That is why you go by Reni the Resource, right?
Exactly. Trying
I
to be
love
resourceful
it.
and help people. So since day one that I started, and I started in 2018 full time. So since day one, I started maximizing my funds. So it's only 3% of my paycheck, which you really don't miss. Personally, I didn't miss it. I would think it was like $100 or something, but they will double your money. So that's maybe $200 that you're putting in every 2 weeks. And then over 3 years, I don't know how, but it grew to $25,000. And the other $5,000 I saved in cash.
Wow.
So, yeah,
Wow.
it's something that I was like, thank God I have this, because saving up $30,000 obviously is not very easy. So
Right.
that was a much easier way, because I didn't even know the money was gone. It was just like, oh, it's like when I get my paycheck, it's not even there, right?
Right,
So,
and that's a really good way of saving in general, right? Put it away, you can't see it. And so what is another way that you prepared besides saving money?
So I developed multiple streams of income as well. So I always tell people having one job or having one stream of income is too close to having none. Because if you get hurt, or if there's some reason why you can't work, you have no money at all, right? So I decided to develop 5 different streams of income. I have more, but like 5 main streams of income. And that allowed me to know that even if I left my full-time job, I have 4 other sources that will keep me over, basically. And the YouTube channel was the main, YouTube and my investing portfolio are the main ones that support me. Yeah.
Okay, what are some other ones that you have?
I have affiliate links, which get a good amount of income every month for me. I also have my real estate, so I own a house, so it's a rental property, so the cash flow from that can help me. I don't really touch that right now, but if I needed to, that would be an option. I also have other side gigs that I do and different things like that.
Right,
So, yeah,
resourceful.
it's been working out so far.
Okay, so we've talked about the financial aspect of quitting. You let me know that you were overwhelmed when you were working. So how did you overcome like that overwhelm or manage it to be able to put yourself in the position to be able to quit? Like, how did you prepare yourself emotionally to be able to, just say, I'm done, goodbye?
I don't know. It was a lot of pep talks that I had with myself. But I think having a good support system was something that really helped me. If I didn't have other people so a lot of my friends were leaving their jobs at the same time, which I think was encouraging for me, because they all landed on their feet. They all got better jobs. They all got better opportunities. So that was reassuring to me. And it was like, okay, if they can do it, I'm sure I can do it as well. And then also just people telling me, yeah, go full time. Like, your YouTube channel is amazing. Go and pursue this full time. And that really encouraged me. And I was like, okay, I can do this. And then also the fact that I had good relationships with my coworkers and I left on a good note also was very reassuring, because I knew that anytime I needed something, or if I ever was like, nah, I'm done with this freelance life, I'm going back, I knew that I could always go back to my old job. So it was very reassuring. And it was basically like I didn't burn any bridges, because I knew that, things may not work out, so I can always go back if I wanted to.
That's a really important point. I'm glad you mentioned that, because, when you think of quitting, you're just like throwing papers or doing the most. It's like, no, you can actually quit in a way where you still maintain those connections.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your personal finances in the context of, I know that you are very open with your parents, or your parents are very open with you about their finances. What would you say is like your earliest memory of money? And talk to me about the relationship you have with your parents and money, because it's not very common to see Black parents talk about money so openly with what it comes across with you.
Yeah, I am very privileged. Mom, if you're watching this, like, yeah, I'm sure she'll be happy about this.
Shout out, Mom.
Yeah. But yeah, so my parents have been teaching me about money since I was maybe 4 years old.
Wow.
Like, I moved to Canada when I was 4 years old. And ever since then, I've had a bank account. I've had, like, they've always emphasized the importance of money. I'm sure you know, we're both African. So our parents will, like, uncles and aunties will come over and give us money.
Yeah.
And most times our parents would be like, oh, let me hold that for you. Let me hold that for you, right?
Yeah.
My parents would be like, okay, 50% of that has to go into your bank account. And then the other 50%, you can do whatever you want with it. So
wow.
Imagine a 4-year-old being like, I'm basically learning the discipline since I was 4 years old. So
wow.
even when I turned 18 or something, I was working at Payless shoe store and like making $9 an hour. So it's not much, but it was more than obviously I was making before. So it was like, okay, 50% of this goes into your bank account, 50% you keep. And I've been investing since I was 18 years old. So I'm 25 now, 7 years in the market. Like my portfolio is 100K right now. So it's like,
hold on. You can't just blow past that.
Yeah.
You're 25 years old.
Yes.
Your portfolio hit 100,000.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you so much.
That's amazing. So what advice do you have for newbie investors?
Newbie investors, just start. Do your research, obviously, before you start, because, you know, investing has risks associated with it. But honestly, time in the market is more important than trying to time the market. I see a lot of people.
Please. That is what Wealth Nouveau is about.
Oh,
so
yes.
you saying that,
Yes.
I'm like, did you read our document or something? Okay.
Yeah, I see a lot of people saying, okay, I'm going to wait for, like, oh, this company's so it's so expensive now. For example, Tesla, people are like, oh, it's so expensive now. And I'm like, yeah, I got in at 700 and I thought that was expensive. Now it's 900 something, right? So it's all about the time in the market. And if you believe in the company that you're investing in and you're looking long term, it really doesn't matter when you get in. It matters how long you stay in. So as I said, I've been in since I was 18. I got into Shopify when I was that age too, or maybe 19 or like early on. So I bought Shopify when it was like $200-ish.
Yes,
so now Shopify is about $1,000 each. And that's what paid for my house, simply because I was putting in, I wasn't making much, maybe $500 bi-weekly. So, right, it wasn't much, but I was putting that into Shopify. I would buy 2 shares of Shopify bi-weekly. Like it wasn't much, but imagine 2 shares each week, bi-weekly, growing to $1,000 each. Like it paid for my entire house. So.
Right. Yeah. So just bring it back because, you know, we have this wave now, the Great Resignation, and it's trending. So what exactly would you say is your best advice for someone who's watching this and thinking, look, I'm done with this job. I want to quit too. What would you say is some advice that you haven't really heard out there that you'd like to give them?
I just haven't heard anyone say, don't rush into quitting. I feel like people are saying, just leave your job. But my advice would be, don't rush into quitting. Obviously, if your mental health is being affected, then you need to do what's best for you. But your mental health will also be affected if you can't pay for anything,
Yes,
right?
That's so
financial
important.
wellness is what you're all about. So yeah, like your financial wellness is also important and it contributes to your overall mental health. So I would say, take time, evaluate your options. If you can and you want to work another job, get another position before you leave, and evaluate your finances before you take that leap of faith and leave your job. But yeah, don't rush into that decision because it is a huge decision and it's not for the faint of heart.
Exactly, it's not for the faint of heart. But thank you so much, Reni, for joining us today at the Beyond Money Summit. You're definitely one of the women we wanted to talk to because it's important to be resourceful and go out there and go for what you want, and that's definitely what you're doing, and that's why this segment is called How I'm Doing It. You're literally doing it, so thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.